In Kansas City, we have all types of terrain. We have rain, snow, hobos, just upkeep, everything.
Rain,
And
The third
snow,
season.
I mean,
hobos.
you gotta remember we have like
But Julian Marquez is joining us actually right now live from Kansas City. Hey, buddy.
What up, dude?
what's up? What's up? Am I on the mic?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you could drop some sick beats since you have a
Yo.
guitar on. It looks like.
No, I had my fanny pack. I carry it around my chest because I'm always in gym clothes, so I don't have pockets.
Oh man,
What
do you keep
how
in there?
women feel all the time.
What do I keep in here, buddy? I
What's in the
have
fanny pack?
Immediately personal questions.
What's in the fanny pack?
my passport,
Nice.
some anti-inflammatories,
Sorry, I asked.
my
Phone
charger,
Charger.
and my AirPods. I have
Nice.
my wallet, but I took my wallet out and I have it hanging on this. I have my phone propped up against it so I can have this angle.
Oh,
Nice.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, man. How's Kansas City treating you? What'd you have for din din?
Actually, what the? I'm over at my brother's house, and my sister-in-law made some like chuck roast tacos, and it's pretty bomb. So
Dude, heck
good.
yeah.
That sounds good. We had tacos catered for lunch today at work. So how often are you golfing when you're out there? Because there's a lot of amazing courses in Kansas City.
I just played Fox Hill when I first got here. Then I played Rosedale. But the problem is I don't have a car right now, so I can't. I'm not going around anyway. I'm just going to the gym. If I use anything, I'm going up to the gym, working out, and doing my thing. Coming back home and spending the rest of the time with family. I do want to try that. Is it Black Hoof? I think it's what it is. It's a new course here in Kansas City. I haven't been able to get around to it. And I know that Casey Whiteout's coming here next week, so Bad Rock's getting all done up and prepared for next week's tournament. So I don't want to play there. The time Bad Rock is just dude, that course. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, but the last time I played there, it was pretty crappy a course. It's a terrible course in my opinion. It's tough, but it's just terrible. It was terrible when I went there last time. There's a bunch of hobos like living on the course, and it's
Los Olivos.
No, that's true. But we were out there. I was out there, and I played. I was staying on 17th and Bell, and it was the Conocino was there. That's a great course, just quick, easy. And then the one across the highway started with like an S, like Sweetwater maybe or something.
Sweetwater, yeah.
And I was there. It's an 18-hole course, and it was beautiful. There was no T sign, so I didn't really know where anything was. So I was kind of figuring out. And then once I got to hole, 5, it started getting really rough. Like there was like bums there. I would throw my disc, and I had to yell at him like, "Yo, put it back down." And I got onto like hole 9, and it just smelled like urine, and it was rough to where at the point I just walked right off.
Oh no!
Damn, dude, that's
I was
pretty
thinking
intense.
Bad upkeep, like someone didn't mow this week or something. That's rough.
Oh, yeah, and it could have been the time. I have no idea, but that's the same thing. When I was over there, when I was there at Bad Rock last, it was just there's trees everywhere. There was not an upkeep. Wasn't clean, in my opinion. And it's a tough course. Like if you don't have a clean course and you're playing tough holes, and like say you go out in the woods, it makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's unfair on top of unfair, because you're already in the rough. But yeah, dang,
That's wild. I don't know that I've ever been to a course that's really hit me that hard. I think when I played Rito in Tucson, it was the middle of July, so it was 1,000,000 degrees, but there was like just shattered glass all over the course.
Oh yeah, I see
And I
that
was like,
stuff all the time.
What the hell is that? Who leaves glass? Like
The worst
damn
we get
kids.
around here is that course I played last Saturday where I completely shit the bed.
Oh, yeah, your favorite.
The couple times I've been there, I've been chased off on hole 1 from getting attacked by hornets. And then every other time I've played there, there's just like spider webs across the entire fairway, and you're just swatting them away. Like it just gets gross and
Oh man,
unkept. And
I'll freak out if that happened. It's in Kansas City. We have all types of terrain. We have rain, snow, hobos, just upkeep, everything.
rain,
The third
snow,
season.
hobos.
You gotta remember, we have like that kid got shot playing disc golf out here in Kansas City. You remember that?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
A
Yeah.
couple years ago.
So it's like it's hard out here in the Kansas City area. We have some great courses, but it's just if they're not paid attention to by the community, then it gets really bad. There's one in Independence. I can't. It's not. Man, I can't think of the name. I went there one time, and I remember on hole 17, there was a homeless person with all of his clothes hanging on the basket. And my buddy, I was walking off. I was like, whatever. But my buddy had an eagle opportunity, and he walked up to the guy, and he was like talking to him, like, "Hey, man, can you remove your clothes?" So I go there, and he goes, "Oh, for what?" He goes, "Well, this is the basket." He goes, "Oh, I didn't know what that was." And he proceeded to pull out all of his clothes from inside the basket and hanging out to dry. And my buddy puts the eagle and walked to the next one, and I was like, "Dude, that's the rough part about disc golf is like if the community isn't cleaning everything up and keeping things there, then these courses tend to fall off."
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
I wonder how many people are just like walking around a public park and be like, "That's the weirdest grill I've ever seen."
Yeah. Oh, I've seen
yeah.
people grilling on
How
them
are you
all
supposed
the
to-
time. All the
It's
time.
wild to me. I mean, I guess
I've never seen
we're
that.
the benefit of being in the know of what it is. I can't imagine seeing that with no context and trying to guess what it is.
Oh yeah.
But
It's always funny when I educate someone in my life about disc golf and well, what are the holes? You know, when you explain the basket and they go, "I've seen those everywhere." And you're like, yeah, they're all over the place. Like disc golf's very popular.
Hold on, let's get into that real quick. Did you just say you've seen people grill on the disc? Like, what did you put aluminum foil inside of the basket and then just like?
So what I've seen is they have like charcoal in the basket, and then there'll either be foil on the top, and they just use the heat from the fire to cook up on the top of the basket.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I figured they'd do like foil in the basket and like build a bonfire around the base.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then they hang the meat from like the chains. They just have little like hangers.
That's actually ingenious. Never mind.
That's so smart, but like in my head, that is too much. Like for me to think about, like, hey, how am I going to cook this chunk of meat or this chunk roast? I'm not going to hang it from a chain and pull like Hellraiser style, just have it like meat off the hook. That'd be wild.
It was intense. It's something you see and you're like, damn, like I never would have thought of that because my brain is just so preconditioned to know immediately what that is.
Right.
And
I suppose if you see it and you think it's a grill, you're going to figure out how to use it. So that's funny. Holy smokes.
That's the most wild thing I've seen.
Next time Gannon spits out, we're just going to blame it on steak grease and not an overly
aggressive
speedy putt.
Yeah.
All I can think of now is wanting to try it. Like I gotta try it.
Please document it if you do.
I think it would be cool. I do it on your own basket though. Don't disrespect.
Oh yes, of course.
And also too, just you don't want to run into possibly getting any type of contamination. Yeah, from that.
It's like I got lead poisoning from.
Did you season these steaks? I cooked them at the disc golf course. Oh
yeah. I cooked them on DDO basket. Oh,
enjoy your mic.
Smells like bong resin. That's weird.
Yeah.
How did you get into disc golf? And I also wanted to know, have you been training or disc golfing longer?
So I started training in 2000. I want to say I was wrestling when I was younger, so like technically I was in there in like early 2000, like 2002, 2001 when I started training. But like that was wrestling. I started disc golfing in 2006, and the story of the reason why I was 16 years old, and me and my friends just wanted to we wanted to drink and smoke. There's not a lot to do here in Kansas City, and Waterworks was popping, but you can go out on the Waterworks for like an hour and a half playing that course, and no one says anything to you if you're smoking cigarettes, if you're smoking weed, if you're drinking beer. No one says anything. Cops don't roll through that area because they just never did. So we started disc golfing then. And then we ended up on our second day, we found a bag full of discs.
Ooh.
And it was you could tell whoever left the bag there was one, an idiot, but two, they were they had to have been one branded because I guess it would probably have been that was when the Innova or Innovas were all all popping because all we had was Star Plastic.
Yeah.
And there was probably about 25 discs in there. And
Wow.
we were drinking and we just ganked it. And then we started playing with it. So we had a whole bunch of stuff. We ended up sharing stuff, and I ended up keeping a Nuke, a Rock 3, and a Destroyer. And those
Classic
are the
starter
discs I
bag.
used. Oh, yeah, there was no such thing. I didn't even know what a putter was. I was like, forget this. I used to putt with mid-ranges. And then so I started playing that, and it was just off and on. It wasn't like I'd play it every single day. We'd just go out there, and every so often we'd be throwing it. We'd probably play 10 times a year. And it was all in the summertime on a Friday whenever we want to go drink. And we pregame on the disc golf course.
We've thrown it maybe 2 or 3 times, I think. And the only video that I have of you throwing, which I thought would not be the case, is on hole 2 at Los, and you pull it right into the tree, and you're like, don't do that. Don't record that.
Don't post that. Oh, I don't care. Everybody knows. Because, sometimes you have good throws, sometimes you don't. This is the problem is, I like to bite off way more than I can chew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I play Los Olivos with my putters and my putters and my mids. That's all I play it with. I won't play anything, even though I could probably do way better and park a lot more baskets if I started going up to the proper discs. And because I have, trust me, I parked hole 4, and I was shocked when I threw the cicada. I was like, oh crap, maybe I could. Oh, I throw a scorch, and I'm putting it there. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why. But I just want to play with mids. That way, I can start figuring out and unlocking my form because that's a test course. To me, you don't have a lot of courses where you can throw those type of shots. Or on what is it at Vista? There's no way I could play that round with putter and mid ranges. And then feel good about myself, That's the thing.
Right.
So I shanked that shot. I'm so bummed.
That's okay. Every time I'm out there, I'm hitting trees. So
I'm pretty sure in high school we played something similar to disc golf, but it was ultimate frisbee / disc golf where we would we didn't have baskets, but we had poles.
Oh, tone pole, yeah.
Yeah. And we would throw that and we'd play and just have fun or whatever. And then I got ISS that day because I threw mine over the fence and then I jumped the fence and then I just hung out all PE in the woods. And so, but that from that game, we ended up getting real hooked on beer pole. Do you remember that? Do you guys ever heard of that?
Beer pole? No.
It's called beer pole. So you get two poles and you put them probably about 25, let's say the same distance as the circle's edge from the basket from each other. And you put a glass beer or a beer at the top of the pole. And then what you do is you have a disc and I throw the disc at the pole. If I hit the pole and it knocks the beer down, you can only catch it with one hand. You have to have a beer in hand. You can catch it with one hand. And if you do that, you take a drink, 1 point. If I hit the pole and it falls and you can't catch it, I get 3 points. And then if I hit the beer right off the pole, I ended up getting 5 points. So similar to similar to like what is it, like cornhole, but you just keep attacking the pole. So you have you have one disc and two people on each side, and you're just throwing it out there and have
That's
to have it very
wild.
in. So
I've never even
made
heard
that
of that.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be fun.
Yeah,
That sounds like
that's what we learned.
Good way to waste beer.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that we're high schoolers all the way to college, and we didn't care. That the excitement of that game was awesome.
They hadn't quite figured out, like, let's just put water in there and then we can save our drinks.
Yeah, we didn't think of that. We were like, oh. But yeah, we would play that all the time, and we got it because of school. Like, we kept throwing it to the pole, and one of like my buddies was like, dude, we should put a beer on top of that. And I'm like, okay, how do we make the rules? And they just were like, let's do it cornhole style and do it like that. Cause like there's times where you hit it's not hard to catch it. Like when you see it going to when you see it going to the pole, you got a long distance. And you're talking about a normal disc or a normal frisbee. It's not flying super hard so you can catch it. But if they land it and hit it straight on, those things fly. There's no way of catching it.
That's interesting.
Fun facts. But yeah, I think disc golf, to make it more known, obviously, is the content on YouTube, having more personalized, like the athletes, and also like obviously if you can get on ESPN or some other network that can blow it up to get people excited. I don't think I will say this right now. I don't think the DGPT is doing a great job. I think they're kind of harming us when it comes to it because they only choose specific players that they're going to show. They only choose specific highlights they're going to show. They they build certain players up that have already built like status, right?
Right.
And then they always put the same, commercials on all the time. Again, I understand you have to pay for sponsors, but you could pay extra, which they have on there. And even though you're paying for ad-free, you're still getting ads on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think like if people pay to watch disc golf, they want to watch disc golf. If you put a $300 no ads and have two people talking the whole time, I bet you people would pay more money to make sure they don't see the same ad over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could absolutely. Yeah.
I could see that. I definitely don't. I mean, unless they really shift their feelings on it, I really don't want disc golf on ESPN because they shit on disc golf every time there's a highlight that makes the top 10.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, fucking frisbee golf, Jim. What do you think about that? It's like, you're not like you get your ass out there and throw a disc. I would love to see a doubles tournament where it's like 6 pros and the 6 Sports Center anchors, and we're gonna see how well they fucking do at throwing a disc, and then we'll see if they talk shit again. Like, it bugs me so much with that attitude.
Get it on Barstool. Like get Barstool involved into it and have it on there if you don't want an ESPN. But like the reason why people make fun of it on ESPN is because it's unknown, right? If you're talking about athletic sport, like no one's really going to show any like famous sports that have to do with athletics. Like so golf, you have to have a certain sense of athleticism, but you don't really, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you're talking about football, you have to have straight athleticism. Basketball, you have to have athleticism. You have to have skill. You have to have talent. And like, I mean, they have cornhole on there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You remember how much trash was talked whenever cornhole was on there? And it's still on there. It's still getting shown on there. Like, I see highlights of cornhole all the time. It's like, why is cornhole getting more love than disc golf?
I think I saw something once that cornhole is so much cheaper to produce, especially for like ESPN, because you need like 2 or 3 static cameras, 2 commentators, and that's it. You don't need a camera crew following people down fairways.
In 100-foot by 100-foot space versus having to lug equipment around a whole course. I get that, but at the same time, like as a pretty damn decent cornhole player, I find disc golf so much more exciting to watch.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%.
It's not as long, And the thing is like, okay, so this is what you do. if the DGPT would just have, so like ESPN will pay you to do all that. So they already have all the filming. They already have all like the stuff. And all they need to do is ESPN will pay for them to have it on their network. And then it would be good like that. And they can do all and manage all their stuff. The UFC gets paid by ESPN because they're the ones that do all the production, all the editing, everything when it comes to their fight deal. And ESPN pays them to put it on ESPN, ESPN Plus, things like that. And I think that would be a route than having on the DGPT network, because let's be honest, like no one wants to watch a round and you're going to see Gannon Burr and Luke Humphreys on 17 battling it out, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's put them in the smallest box in the corner and then have 3 ads going so you can see that. And it's like, no, this is a very like important moment in this battle on finals day, and you're gonna put your ads on. Like, yeah, we're watching, but dude, terrible timing. And it's like, what are we talking about here? And then
Zanfell or something.
Oh, it's rough. And
halal guys.
Oh yeah, halal guys. Or some,
I know we're two holes away from the finale, but are you hungry?
Right. You should leave right now in the middle of this and go get falafel.
Oh yeah, let me go grab halal guys. I respect halal guys more than the majority of the stuff that goes on there. Have you seen some of the commercials that are just like, yo, like, did you guys really pay for a budget on this like video? Like, is this what you're thinking of? Did you guys remember the guy that was like, he was promoting his disc shop and like he was talking something. It was so long, and at the end of it, they taped him to the like the cabinets, or like in the warehouse. They taped him to like the disc shelves, and like they all walked off and left him. It was like, come on, guys,
that sounds like a Danny commercial. Danny Lindahl.
It was so bad.
I love marketing. I would love to sit and like figure out goofy.
Shank knows this already, but the one that gets me is the stupid Eric Oakley whale sax one, because that cut is terrible. Like, you could time that cut so much better than they did. Is the one cut at the end of the commercial where he claps his hand together and he goes from wet to dry,
and he moves over like an inch,
like twice, and moves an inch. Yeah, there's so many ways you can make that better.
Oh no, it's perfect.
And what's crazy though is that like they do that in like, they're like goofy stuff will get you to like do it. I don't remember them. I only remember the serious ones. Like,
really?
Not the serious, but the good ones. When it's dumb, I immediately tune out and I can't watch it. Like, I think it's like, man, your acting's terrible. Like we all know the Zuka Cart ones. We all know the like the halal guys. We always see that stuff up there. What is it? We know the Discmania disc, I guess Discraft will throw some stuff up there. Do you remember the one with Valerie Monahondo and her husband? They were like cooking sandwiches. Do you remember that one?
No.
Yeah, I remember it. It was a rough one, but
there was one like that with Gannon and Calvin. I think it was for like
the putting
Flight Factory maybe, or some retail store or something. That's the problem with it, right? Is there was too much star power with not enough brand.
I like the commercials. I think are Latitude 64, where the girl's in the parking garage and she walks up and part of the garage has fallen onto her really nice Mustang. And she just stops and takes a deep breath, and it's like, I'm golfing tomorrow.
At least I'm just golfing.
Like I love those commercials. That has been me countless times.
You know why you like those commercials? Because it's fucking genius. That's why. The marketing behind that is insane. Like, it's well thought out. It's a funny commercial. It's not too long. It's not crazy and bombastic. It's good marketing.
Shaggy over
here. Yeah, bombastic. They had one. They had a recent one, and I can't. Latitude 64, and I remember it. I saw it twice, and I love it. But like at the end of it, the athlete gets up and he's like, "Dude, this is so dumb. Like, I'm leaving." And literally gets up and leaves. And it's like, yo, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
And they got me. Like, it was perfect. It was a perfect.
Was it the one where he's pretending to be the superhero? He's like, I'm whatever, man. And then he wakes up and they're like, you're dumb, dude. And they leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's like, dude, that's a perfect like advertisement, because like it's interesting. It's not long, but when you have these long ass ones like the EDO Sports one, I love them. I think they're awesome shoes, and I do that. But it's like, come on, dude. I don't want to sit here for, it feels like 60 seconds watching this really unthought out, like realistic deal. Like, just give me, if you want to do a 15-second video, that's my attention span. Put me right back on the disc golf.
Yeah. Zuka.
The Zuka one's really memorable. I also like the Calvin Heimburg one for Squatch.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite commercials.
It's just like quiet. Him in the forest, and it's like ASMR basically.
I love that commercial.
I love that commercial.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I stopped watching these commercials. Like, the moment it gets up, I put my phone down and I walk off.
Oh wow.
Because I know I got like 60, 70 seconds. Like, I know it ruins my day when I watch, like when I paid extra money to make sure I don't get this, because I'm all for, helping out the DGPT.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. I want to blow up disc golf, but like when you put stuff up there that it's just like it doesn't make sense, and we watch it in a 3-hour time, we probably have like a 35 minutes worth of unscripted, untimed, at the worst possible moments to watch these like ads.
And it's really only like 5 minutes of ads that you have to watch for 35 minutes because they just play the same ones over and over and over.
So like Terry Miller, when I watch his rounds, I love them because they're exactly what I want to see. We're going to cut the bull crap. We're going to get straight to it. We're not getting blown up here. He has a player on there that's feeding out the information, and Terry's a great and an exceptional host. Like, him talking on that, I enjoy. I always text him whenever he's on the mic, and I'll text him everything, what I see and stuff. I'm like, and I joke with him back and forth because I truly do. I love it when he's on the mic. I love it so much. I also loved whenever we saw Zach Melton come out there and he was on the field.
Oh, yeah.
He had a lot of good one-liners. I heard Big Germ was on it one time, and I loved seeing his point of view as well. But also, I know these guys personally. I never got to meet Nate Doss. I haven't yet. I think he's awesome when he does it as well. Who else was on that? But yeah, these guys, like, I think they do a good job. But also, I'd like to hear a little bit more of them, like bringing up a little. How do you say, like? They always give their color commentating, like how the disc is supposed to go here, how to go there. I'd like to hear some banter back and forth. Like, man, when I was on this hole throwing, I'll never forget so-and-so threw this shot, and it just completely rizzed me. Like, if you remember 2018, I was on this hole on the lead card, and he threw this shot, and it was so good that when I got up there, I was like, I don't know what happened. I just threw it right into the trees. And, like, just get some more information than just talking about what we're seeing, kind of like draw us in there. And that's usually during the dead space when they're walking from tee box to first draw.
I think the Joe Mez boys do a great job of that. The banter during the commentary and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a little too much. I think that's just another symptom of disc golf being so young still, is we just don't have the personalities.
Everybody got to find their feet.
Yeah, we don't have the big, like really big personalities like other sports do. Yuli and Germ are great for where we are now, but they're no like, JR and whatever.
Nate Sexton. Nate Sexton will always be my favorite commentator. I think he's the perfect blend. He's the perfect blend of humor and info and keeping you engaged. And like you said, it's
great
the same
radio voice.
Yeah, the same kind of thing that you were talking about, Julian, where you're like, oh, if you remember, this is the hole that I aced where the fox peed on my disc or whatever. That's the kind of stuff he'll bring up. And I love that.
I'm totally with you on that, Spicy, up until he's in the booth with Nate Doss and Terry Miller. Because when he's on live, I cannot stand Nate and Nate together. There's something about them going back and forth that irks the shit out of me, and I can't watch it. Like, I would so much rather just Nate be on Jomez with Germ and Yuli and Nate Doss be on commentary live, and that's fine. Putting the both of them together is just, it makes me want to turn off my TV.
Recipe for disaster.
This is nothing against Nate Doss, but do people like him as a commentator?
I don't mind him. I really don't. You guys have personal interest in him, though.
Yeah, I don't feel poorly about him. I don't feel anything about Nate Doss being a commentator.
He's gotten better than he used to be, because he used to have like 3 or 4 go-to phrases, and just like the ads, hearing that over a 3.5 hour period, you're like, okay, dude,
right?
We get it. Like,
he said champ again for the 20th time.
Yeah,
but I think that's what it is. Is that like, so you have your 2 analysts, and then you have a color commentator, right? And that's just how to bring flow. Like you people want to have insight on how the game's being played at the current moment, and then 2 people that can analyze everything and break it down in a proper way, right? Like, I would always be a color commentator when I sit down on the mic, because I'm going to tell you how a fight is breaking down versus, when I've been on the mic with people, there's color commentators that can sit there and tell you literally exactly what's happening right in front of them. And it's so insane and crazy in like that amount of time. I could never do that. I could, but I'm not going to. And the thing is, like, I like when Nate Doss is on there. I think he hasn't served me wrong, but I do think that there's a lot of hidden beef inside of disc golf, which is, I wish it was more vocal and more open, to where, like, when some players are talking about other players on the mic, they're trying to be nice, but they don't like each other, and they always try to refer it back to them. And so that's why I feel like they may not have beef, like the double Nates may not have beef, but they played against each other. They've lost to each other. They've won against each other. You know what I mean? Like, so there has to be some sort of like, dynamic. You're always going to have that, right? Yeah. They're always going to have that.
Yeah, and I wish we had more rivalries in this sport, like true rivalries. Like there's there's
Paul and Ricky, and that's
Paul and Ricky, and like, but even them, they're cordial with each other. Like they don't act like they don't like each other. The most interesting feud to ever come out of disc golf is Brody and Paul. And that's just because people don't know what happened. It's probably
we'll see what happens with Silas and Drew, though. That was pretty cool. The diss track.
Oh yeah, Silent. Yeah,
that was out of nowhere.
Right. It was.
That's a different style, though. I like the beef. Like I want to know. I want to know from both sides on the Paul and Brody beef. Brody brought it up in his podcast and invited Paul onto it, and I literally messaged Paul, and Brody all separately, and then Paul and Brody together, Eulenberry. And I was like, hey, man, I'm down to bring this beef down. I'll make this stuff happen. I want to sit there, put me in a referee deal, and have the same exact concept how you guys have me in the middle. Have you 2 go. I'll give you guys rounds where you guys can speak your mind, and I'll be there to settle it down to make sure you guys don't, like, attack. Like, you get your point across. Let's go there and let's squash the beef, or let's heighten the beef. And I think it would be awesome, but they didn't respond back to me. But Macbeth was like, yeah, I'll go on there. Pull me on. And
like around the horn, okay. That would be great.
Right. I think it would be perfect.
I've been saying for years that the content in disc golf that's missing is a professional wrestling level scripted disc golf show.
They tried that with Jomez House.
No, but like way more, like turned up to 12.
Just like,
and we'll start with
Cat Ezra from the top rope.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I like the beef. I want the beef. I think the Drew and Silas beef, I think that was taken way too far. I think that yes, I do believe that there is, you can have beef with one another and do great. I think Silas's rap was amazing. I didn't know who he was talking about to the end. I still thought it was amazing. I like Drew. I like Silas. I've talked to them both, but I also spoke my mind. Don't ever bring a family member into the conversation. And it doesn't matter. Nothing else. Like even in UFC, like you see the beefs and stuff that happen, and some of the stuff they say is hilarious. Some of the stuff they say is crazy. And the only beef that we've seen that have gone south and things happen outside is whenever, Duplessis said something about Sean's father, and that went outside, and Sean jumped the seats and started striking them out at a UFC event. And then the Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov situation where he threw a dolly at the bus. Like there's certain things that you don't cross, and you can't cross. You can't bring in any family members. Can't bring anything like that. And that's what makes the beef there. Like if you want to roast them on the person. And if you want to keep it to that person, keep it to that person. Don't bring anybody else that's not in that stuff. I think there has to be some rules and some guides. But if you have beef with someone, let it be known. And like when we watch these people play, like I want to know that there's beef going on. Because we all knew that Paul and Ricky have beef. And when we watched them, we were all sitting there like this the whole time. It
made it so much better. It made it so much better watching them trade blows, going back and forth like that. Pun withstanding there, obviously. But watching them make it like back-to-back putts and just so much better knowing that you could see it on Ricky's face or Paul's face.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's what this sport needs the most is just real beef, and put these guys on the same card all the time. Because sooner or later, they're either going to keep battling with each other or one's going to surpass them. And I think Paul needed Ricky and Ricky needed Paul to get them where they're at today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we need to call out Double G for stealing all the beef, making disc golf boring.
Sometimes I shudder about who I host with. Yeah, he's been booted. Well, we're about at time, Julian. Is there anything? What do you want to plug? Get out there, spend your time. We are glad to have you. I mean, you and I are buddies, so it was nice to have you on and actually get to interview you and not just shoot the shit on the disc golf course.
I love it. Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on here and let me speak my disc golf mind and thoughts, and then you guys sharing the same thing. Any guys who want to follow me on J Marquez MMA. If any guys are in Arizona and want to play around, I'm always down. Other than that, if you find any beef on Twitter, on Instagram between disc golfers, doesn't matter the level, tag me, J Marquez MMA. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to be about the drama. And if you know any other content that's good to watch on YouTube, tag me, because I need that when I'm in camp.
Heck yeah.
Sounds good, brother.
Well, thank you so much for being on. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no worries, man. We'll catch you later.
Take it easy, guys.